Hello, it's Cheryl Meyer, and this is another magical moment from Wonderland. And this one is part of my self-love series. I want you to think about, do you really love yourself? And if you come to my retreat, John and I actually have a way to test you for that. And then if you don't, we have a way to facilitate that when you leave here, you will. But this is my second on what are the downsides if you don't love yourself. So this one is on what happens if you don't love yourself. I didn't explain why this is my headpiece for this. It is spring. We just went through May Day, so I thought these were appropriate to do for my self-love series and whether or not you actually do love yourself. So what happens if you don't love yourself? When you don't love yourself, your entire life operates from lack. You settle for jobs, for relationships, for treatment that doesn't reflect your worth, because deep down, you truly don't believe you deserve better, so you settle. You chase validation, approval, and success, thinking that that might finally make you feel whole, but it never does. Without self-love, you become your own worst critic. I have a lot of you tell me you can't handle all of the ants and the chatter in your head. Well, if you work on your self-love, you can clear all that up and kill all those ants. You second guess all your choices. You apologize for your existence. You silence your voice. You ignore your needs. And you abandon your boundaries to keep peace or to keep people in your life. I was so busy loving everybody else and taking care of everybody else and overgiving. Whether or not they gave to me became secondary. And that's why all of my relationships after my marriage went south. I didn't know if I loved myself or not. I got married when I was 20. I got divorced when I was 30. So he was my high school sweetheart. I hadn't developed into the adult that I became yet. We were two kids that got married. And there were a lot of wonderful things about that. We got to be silly kids growing up to becoming adults together. But he fell in love with somebody else and left me. And that left me devastated. And whatever self-worth I had in terms of being in a relationship with a man that I loved was shattered. So you start outsourcing your power, waiting for someone to choose you, to fix you, or to save you. And while you're waiting, life passes you by. Opportunities start to slip through your fingers because you don't feel like you're ready or you don't feel good enough. And here's the hard truth. If you don't believe in your value, nobody else can convince you of it. Not truly. But the moment that you decide to love yourself, everything shifts. You stop settling. You speak up. You take up space. You start leading your life instead of just surviving it. Self-love fuels courage. It gives you clarity. It gives you confidence. It gives you resilience. You become magnetic. And because you're perfect, you know who you are and what you want and that you deserve it. And you become perfect, not from anything except because you're real. You are who you came here to be. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you finally chose you? Because self-love is not a luxury. It's the foundation. And when you own that, you stop waiting to be enough and start living like you already are. And remember, you show somebody how to love you by how you love yourself. And whoever you pull into your life, like my John, he's a reflection of you. So if you don't love yourself, you're not going to find somebody who's going to love you the way you deserve to either. So this is part 2 of self-love. I'll be back tomorrow on Saturday with part 3 on self-love. I want you to do some soul searching.